to my channel where we talk about all things Transformers and Transformers action figure related. And today on my channel we're going to be taking a look at the fourth and final part of the magic of Cybertron. This is where it all comes to a head and all comes to the thrilling conclusion in My Little Pony Transformers: The Magic of Cybertron. So for those of you who don't know, this is the crossover that IDW are currently doing between the Transformers and My Little Pony. I have covered the other 3 issues on this channel, so if you want to go back, you can see them all there. And also this is basically part 2. Part 1 was where they went to Equestria. Now what's happened is all of the My Little Ponies have come to Cybertron, and Sombra, the one that's here, has taken over quite a few of the bots and mind controlled them, and some of the ponies as well. So the ponies, the cons, and the bots all have to work together to defeat Sombra. So let's start by looking at this awesome cover here, and this is a fantastic cover. Megatron's glowing purple eyes. Then we have some ponies. Sombra, the one that's causing all the mischief. Loads of bots kind of hanging out in the background there as well, with these kind of horns on them, which is pretty cool. And then we have a pony here as well. So another pony here. That's Pinkie Pie. I don't know the names of the ponies, but nice cover. This is probably my second favorite cover, but then I worked out my favorite cover is actually a lie, and we'll go through that when we get to the end of this book. But really cool, nice comic book cover here. Opening it up, it tells us with the first one is the mightiest Dinobot, followed by the ultimate finale where everything all kicks off. The roll call on this one for ponies are Spike, Smolder, the main 6, which is Rainbow Dash, Fluttershy, Pinkie Pie, Twilight Sparkle, Rarity, and Applejack. And then, of course, Sombra, the mighty Sombra, former ruler of the Crystal Empire. Nice. And then, as a bots, from the bot side, we have Grimlock, Superion, Prime, Megatron. Lots of other bots are mentioned in this, but they only just call out 4. So in the last one, Friendship in Disguise, we saw a budding relationship between Spike, no, not that Spike, this Spike, this little dude, and Grimlock. They formed quite a tight little friendship, and now that seems to have expanded here, where Spike seems to have befriended the rest of the Dinobots, and also has brought along his friend Smolder. Smolder says that he thought he only knew one of them, and he said he did some research. So Grimlock then says, hey, who's this other dragon with you? Is your friend as cool as you are, basically? And the flying dragon Smolder then goes, whoa, goes in the sky, spits out some flame, and the rest of the Dinobots are all absolutely amazed by how small and organic this tiny creature is, but has so much power. Grimlock, of course, then says, hey, my dude is just as good, but he can't fly. He says he's still learning. He can't really do anything to do with fire. He can just send correspondence, like smoke signals, I guess, with the fire, because that's what he did in the first episode. And then he says, he's a good listener. That's kind of his magic power. Grimlock says, friend Spike, help Grimlock out here. Grimlock's trying to impress everyone. Everyone's kind of like, this guy's not so good. Especially that face. That face kind of says it all, right? Then, just as they are trying to work out what Spike's actually good at, Superion emerges out of nowhere and starts to attack them. And then there's an awesome callback here when the bots start fighting, because he's got his green eyes, so that means he is possessed by Sombra. And then if you think back to Transformers the movie, we start to see the eyes popping out here. That's such a nice, cool little callback to that. And then we also see underneath the foot, just like in Devastator, lots of different callbacks here to Transformers the movie. Very, very, very cool. We then see that Grimlock is cast aside. Superion tries to make a joke about extinction, but then says it's just beneath him, and then he gets flamed in the face. After being flamed in the face, he just hits Smolder, and Smolder gets cast aside and smashed into Spike. So they realise they have to take a slightly different approach here, and what they think is, hey, why don't we try and separate them? So we know that the combiners are 5 minds that go into one. Sombra can't really control 5 minds all at the same time, or may have a little bit of a weakness there because it's very difficult to hold these two things together. So they start flying around and appealing to each one of the egos of the aerial bots to try and get them to separate, and ta-da! They separate, and then once they separate, Sombra no longer has any kind of control over them. So then, of course, because this was Spike's idea, all of the Dinobots think that Spike is amazing because he was able to use his words instead of violence to separate them. And of course, he then becomes an honorary Dinobot, and we see this pretty cool picture, actually, of these little dragons chilling with the Dinobots. We then head into the finale that we were waiting for, and the Autobots are getting closer to Sombra's lair and try to find out what it is that these mind-controlled bots from Sombra are actually trying to achieve. And we can see here that they've dug a big hole in the floor. So they're trying to dig a big hole in the floor. What are they doing? They're fighting, they're fighting, they're fighting. They're trying to find a way to beat these bots back without getting mind-controlled themselves, because they're all concerned that Sombra may actually just put a spell on any of them at any time, so they've got to get in there quick, attack him. But what was buried beneath, as Elita 1 was saying, oh no, this is the worst place that they could be, because after Zarek went home, this is where they buried Scorponok once Zarek left Cybertron. So King Sombra has gone into Scorponok and become King Sombranok. Sounds like Slobberknocker, doesn't it? It's like, what a Slobberknocker! So now he's become Sombranok. So the worst thing that could happen has happened. He has taken over Scorponok and has a whole bevy of mind-controlled bots that are coming after him. But Soundwave and Starscream and the other aerial bots as well all start to arrive. And they have something very special that's going on. So what they've done is they've been secretly developing exosuits for the ponies, and then the ponies all transform into a shield, a hammer, and an axe type affair. Then Starscream, Shockwave, and RC all take hold of them, and apparently by using these weapons, the power of friendship will remove Sombra's spell on them. So the fusion of friendship technology, transformation technology starts to remove all of the power that Sombra had over these bots. So RC knocks all the hell out of all of the bots to get them to come to their senses. Shockwave uses a kind of mirror image here, or uses the shield so that Rarity can see herself, and basically it's not cool. It's not cool to be controlled by Sombra, so she's able to get out of being hypnotized by Sombra. Then there's a big fight, of course. Megatron must be stopped, no matter the back off Autobot! And then Starscream comes in with his axe to wield it against Megatron, hits Megatron, and that breaks Megatron's spell. Ratchet and Wheeljack are fitting 2 of the ponies here with 2 new exosuits here, and this one keeps asking, am I going to transform into a rubber chicken? Am I going to transform into a cream pie? Am I going to transform into a banana peel? And basically Wheeljack's like, no. Do you know anything about machines? With a few people less to control, Sombra then is trying to get hold of the cannon, basically Scorponok's big, massive weapon. He's trying to control that so he can shoot that on the other bots. So Sombra is trying to fire the big cannon of Scorponok, and Prime and Megatron unite to basically attack Scorponok with the weapons that have been created out of ponies. And it's the power of friendships and combining friendship with Cybertronian technology. It works. and Sombra is then destroyed and is not happy, basically. So the ponies are asked to raise their paws or their hooves if they are no longer possessed, and there we can see they're all no longer possessed. No one else is mind controlled, and Megatron, as always, when they've worked together, says no. As an old friend often says, freedom is the right of all sentient beings. So for today, they will not fight. Apart from, of course, he was able to read Starscream's mind when Starscream attacked him, and Starscream was hoping, as always, that the axe would take Megatron offline, so he turns and attacks Starscream. As is always the case, right? That's what Megatron always needs to do. So the space bridge is reopened, the ponies are sent back, and basically they say that they want to continue to build bridges, and Megatron says it's not for him. But as a cultural exchange, he wouldn't be against other people doing it. And this is the end for now, because who else is looking forward for this now? The Quintessons! The Quintessons say, those little ponies, such compelling creatures, so different, so powerful, so innocent. So the next year, maybe we'll get another episode of the ponies. Have a look through this. This was the one that I got. This was the cover that I got. Another cover was this one, which is a nice enough cover. This cover is really cool, and this was the one that I wanted because it kind of looks a little bit like Megatron crossed with Sombra, and it looked cool, and I thought that was going to be what happened, but no, it was just I don't know, just kind of an idea, I guess. Didn't happen in the issue, so I'm pretty glad I didn't pick it up, although it is very, very, very cool art. We get Canton 3. I don't know what that is. The Science of Surfing is also kind of advertised in this. This one as well is advertised. Star Wars High Republic is also advertised. And then at the back, Friendship! Friendship! Friendship is magic. So that's the final issue, and I have to say, this was much better than the first one. Now, the first kind of run that they did with the Transformers and the My Little Ponies, I didn't like it because it felt like a lot of separate stories. They kind of, the first and second issue went together, but the rest of the issues didn't really fit together. I do really like on this one, there was a through line, and it felt like a story that went from a start to finish, not just these singular kind of stories that didn't really fit together very well. This was much better. Would I read it again? Probably not. Was it cool to read? Yeah. Maybe number 3 will be even better, but hey, this was okay. It was not the worst thing in the world. Let me know your thoughts on this one down in the comments. Did you enjoy this more than the other one? I certainly did. And I will see you in my next video. Alright guys, in a bit. Peace!